Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Strong Style here live on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined by these two wonderful gentlemen to break down everything that's going on in the world of professional wrestling. My man over there, Aaron Turner, how are you? How are things?
Well, I mean, let's just disregard this show because we've been doing it for so long. Much like Halloween Ends, we'll just disregard what we've built and just do something completely different and just see how it goes.
All right, a fast review there for Halloween Ends. A quick 30-second review there from Aaron Turner. Chris Burns, how are you feeling? What are you wearing? What do you got on today?
I'm feeling great. I've finally lost enough weight to squeeze into my 1986 original Rowdy Roddy Piper Hot Rod Ringer tee. So I feel fantastic. How are you guys this morning?
Good. I love those Ringer tees, man. CM Punk does a nice job with those Ringer tees as well. So, the Ringer tees. Fair. Wow, already. Wow, strong statement. Well, ask Hangman Adam Page about it later. He's, some of his friends aren't there anymore. We're going to jump into so many things that are going on here in the world of professional wrestling. We're talking about the return of Bray Wyatt and that incredible show-stopping next level promo that he dropped on SmackDown. So we're going to talk about Brock Lesnar coming back on Raw and all the things that happened on Raw and SmackDown. We're going to get an AEW Dynamite. Moxley and Hangman Adam Page now certainly on a crash course. Orange Cassidy getting a belt. So much happening there in the world of AEW as well. And we're going to review episode 2 of Tales from the Territories, basically the Andy Kaufman, Jerry Lawler episode for an entire episode. It's pretty incredible stuff. We're going to break it all down here and talk some news items as well as it goes along. Please make sure you send in your Streamlabs and your Super Chats. We need that support, ladies and gentlemen. You see the Streamlabs address. It's right above Aaron's head. I'm going to pin it in the chat in just a second, but it's also available in the description of this video as well. All right, send them in. Let's have some fun. And Aaron Turner, where shall we start?
All right, let's get caught up on what happened last week, and that is Extreme Rules. We're going to talk about the results, a little bit of fallout. Pardon me, guys. I'm under the weather a little bit.
Okay.
The Brawling Brutes defeated Imperium in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Ronda Rousey regained the SmackDown Women's Championship by defeating Liv Morgan in an Extreme Rules match. Karrion Kross defeated Drew McIntyre in a strap match with the help of Scarlett and some gel of some kind. Bianca Belair defeated Bayley to retain her Raw Women's Championship. Finn Balor made Edge quit, and then Rhea said, "I'm going to do it anyway," and concertoed Beth Phoenix. Pretty wild visual there. Matt Riddle defeated Seth Rollins in the fight pit. And then at the end of the show, we followed the White Rabbit, and he led us back home to Bray Wyatt. So that was Extreme Rules. What did you think?
I would say this. Let's save the Bray Wyatt stuff for a separate conversation. The other stuff, sure. I can go through it real quick. For my point of view, Brawling Brutes Imperium, surprisingly, a damn good start to this premium live event. I was on the fence about this match. As I said in our predictions, I was going to go use the bathroom. Little did I know they were going to start with it, so I was already fresh and prepped, and I didn't have to use anything. So I watched this whole match, and I did a Twitch watch-along for it, and while I was watching it, the people I was watching it with were enjoying the match as well and enjoying the back and forth. So this turned out to be a damn good match. The Ronda Rousey Liv Morgan thing, the less said about that match, the better. I think it did much more damage to Liv than people realize, even though the WWE puts up videos of Liv and all the stuff to SmackDown, and they remove all the negative comments and just leave up all the positive comments. Overall, I don't think the fans are going to buy into this stuff, but maybe, just maybe down the road, a turn may be coming for Liv where she gets accepted with much more of the fan base, the more of the extreme stuff that she does. But the end here was so wonky. The rhythm was off. And then that ending with her sitting in the back in the corner in the dark because she's gone to a whole nother place. All of it was just kind of for me overall. Even Ronda didn't look good in this match. And that stuff, you've got two people who are saying, one is a glorified mid-carder. The other one is still figuring out this business and how to tell a story in the ring. And it showed in this match for sure. Kross and McIntyre, damn good match. Really enjoyed this. I like him and Scarlett. I think they work well together, obviously, from what happened before in NXT. But now they're letting him just do their thing here. And as we predicted, I think most part, that Karrion was going to win, and he got the job done. But it was a good match. Bianca Belair, wow, what a match this was. Absolute. Started out slow, kind of a professional match, and then it really got going between these two ladies, and Bianca getting the victory was so good. Finn Balor, this was a surprising moment. Certainly the Judgment Day stuff was great. I think, Aaron, you called this, or Chris called it, the idea that Beth Phoenix would get involved. Yeah. It was Chris. And then a concerto. I think, Chris, you said they'd hold her in the back. Well, she came out, and then boom, deliver the concerto, just like a good mafia person. Give us the information. We say we're not going to kill you, but we're going to kill you anyway. And that's essentially what they did to Beth. Great emotional story being told there. The Matt Riddle and Rollins match. I mean, Riddle falling off that top area there onto Rollins. I'm surprised he didn't kill himself or kill Rollins, but in the end got the victory. I was surprised at how much of Cormier we didn't get in this match. He essentially was a glorified ref, but not much more in this whole situation. And then, of course, the return of Bray Wyatt, which we're going to talk about. So, Chris, I throw it to you. What stood out to you? What worked for you? What did you enjoy?
Overall, I thought that this was super interesting. Just even on paper, you look at the card, no Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
No AJ Styles, no Usos, no New Day, no, staples of WWE pay-per-view premium live events for the past several years. So it's like, how is this going to draw interest? And it's ironic that we talked about Memphis Wrestling last week and their creed of personal issues draw money. And every single one of these matches was steeped in super personal ass feuds. And so it's like it worked totally fine. You didn't even notice the absence of so many people. From the get-go, the Brawling Brutes situation with Imperium. I don't know why you were surprised, John. Their credo is banger after banger after banger. Gave us another one on another situation on SmackDown.
It's the Ridge. I just don't buy Ridge, so I wasn't expecting much. And in the end, I was wrong. Yeah.
Let the whole be greater than the parts in this scenario for the Brawling Brutes, okay? I feel the same way about Imperium, but that's okay. We'll talk about it. Liv sucks. I mean, excuse me.
Whoa!
Hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit here. She doesn't. Liv is very over.
Yes.
I don't know why. I can make inferences. I can try. She has a natural thing with the fans. Fine. Yeah. Fine. You gotta face reality. Yeah. You gotta face reality. In the ring, it's not happening. It's not happening. Maybe she just has terrible chemistry with Ronda specifically.
Maybe.
But it was a snake bit issue from the very beginning. I think when this feud first got started, we all talked about, you can't make this believable. Yeah. Ronda will kill this person in any scenario. Give her a weapon, give her a gun. Ronda beats the tar out of Liv Morgan. It just is what it is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's if that 7-year-old, if Omar would have had 2 more seconds when that kid pulled the gun on him, that kid was done. You know what I mean? That's the Ronda Rousey Liv Morgan situation. As far as her character development, we'll get into it as we talk about Raw and SmackDown. I enjoyed the strap match.
Okay.
I still don't think Cross is that great of a wrestler. Okay. I still think the presentation is fantastic. He looks like money. He looks like absolute money. But then the other problem with him is his presentation would suggest that he really does need to be in the main event. And Roman is busy, guys. Roman is very, very, very busy. Yeah. And Gunther is a heel. And Cross is definitely a heel. So you can't go that route. It almost feels like they should have brought Cross back on Raw. And let him go for the United States Championship while Lashley still had it. I could have been really game for a Lashley U.S. champion versus Karrion Kross, feud for that brand's essentially big belt. So he just feels out of place because, even on this episode of SmackDown, they're like, we're just gonna make sure he's not even really that involved on the show. Because I can guarantee you they're bumping up against this wall. Like, once we move him on from McIntyre, what in the hell are we going to do?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Bianca Belair, Bayley. Come on. Bayley is not just the GOAT because of what she can do in the ring, but how good she makes her opponents look. Yeah. And she made Bianca, I feel like, look like $1 million. Bayley took some of the nastiest bumps I've ever seen her take in her career. The KOD while holding the ladder, face first onto it, and you could see her holding her mouth. Like, I don't think she was selling. I think her face went directly into that ladder. So damn. Kudos to Bayley, or Bayley, don't do that. One of the two. I don't know, but man, she really showed what she was made of in that match. And then yeah, come on. When the Dark Attack lays something out for you, you can almost take it to the bank that's the way it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And of course, Beth Phoenix was the logical choice to get involved. The crowd pop when her and Rhea finally went face to face. Yeah, that was fantastic. A sign of things to come. Yeah. And then the logical finish, like you said, like how long have I been saying weeks after week after week? The Judgment Day has to do something. Yeah. Horribly dastardly to cement themselves as why we don't like them. It can't just be, well, we want your son to hang out with us and you don't want him to. Like, that's not enough. Bashing someone's wife's head in, that'll get it done every time. You know what I mean? So
you got to make them NWO. You got to let them go the NWO route. And I think this is what they finally did, the NWO route, akin to The Rock in the ambulance. This is that kind of thing to a degree, and seeing, and right in front of him. I think that was, that's the thing that all guys fear with their significant others, is being unable to stop them from being attacked by someone or by a group and having to watch it happen. It's one of the most horrible things to experience. And so having it happen in a wrestling ring, the illusions of it, I think there's a lot of weight to that moment for sure. And even Dom couldn't fuck it up as much as he might have tried. So it worked.
So that was great. The weird spiky mask for Finn, working for me. I dug the entrance. Shout out to the Prince all day. And then the Fight Pit match, main event. Like I said, I figured that Riddle would have to win. It's his match. He's taken some L's to Rollins over this. Now we can kind of move on from this a little bit. And did they ever move on with Seth Rollins on Raw? Yeah. We'll talk about that too. And then, as we'll get into, just epic return from Bray Wyatt. Yeah. No more effing around. No more QR codes and video game stuff. And just bring the man out. Yeah. And refreshing return, because he didn't interfere in a match. He didn't interrupt something. It was just like, hey, I'm effing here. Get ready. Boom. Fade to black. And then they did the NXT trick where they put the logo on while Riddle was still out. Like, you thought the show was over. And then, boom, it all happened. So I thought it was a great show.
Okay. Aaron, your overall thoughts on it. And as I said, we'll talk about the Bray Wyatt thing overall after you're done with your analysis.
I thought it was a pretty fun show. I actually got to watch all of it, start to finish. I usually don't get to do that with pay-per-views, but I did. I thought the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium was awesome. Banger after banger after banger, as Sheamus will say going up the ramp. You know it. Chris knows it. Rocha, you need to know it.
There's a lot of shillelaghs. A lot of shillelaghs. That's all I'll say.
Shillelagh. It's a Donnybrook. It's fine. It's fine. I wish they would have taken my idea, though. I wish like Fit Finlay and like these classic like brawlers would have got involved, but it's whatever. Ronda Rousey, Liv Morgan. Oh my God. I thought Ronda, I think the problem is that Ronda, when she's doing her judo stuff, she makes it look so easy. And it's just like, I could do this all day. But then outside of that offense, she got nothing, dude. Like, she got nothing. But if they can find a way to tailor the majority of her offense with that judo, then she'll be fine. It's just, I don't think, I think you kind of alluded to that you don't think Liv is the right opponent. I don't think she's the right opponent either. I'm kind of confused as to where we had Shayna Baszler involved and now we don't. I don't know where that's going. And now Liv is like evil. Like, she jumped off of a thing onto Sonya Deville, like proving like she's kind of doing like she's trying to do a really bad version of the old Tommy Dreamer in ECW, saying like, I'm hardcore. It's like, yeah, we know. Yeah. But
it's Alexa Bliss light. That's what you're watching. Is Alexa Bliss light, and only she could make that angle work.
It's really bad. Cross, I'm way higher on Cross and Scarlett than I think you fellas are. I like Cross. I like the hair look better than the bald look, to be honest.
I agree with that.
I like what he's doing. I think he's got a guy that has definitely a unique offense as well. So we'll just kind of getting back into the groove of Cross. We're going to see what he's got. He definitely needs more TV time. I don't know why we're just throwing him into pay-per-views. Bianca and Bayley. Bianca, man, I'm telling you, like I've said it 100,000 times, Bayley is the most sound wrestler bell to bell in that ring that the women's division has, bar none, in the entire WWE, ECW, or WWE, AEW, anything. She's the best in ring. And Bianca Belair not only hung with Bayley quite well, I thought in a couple instances she was outdoing Bayley. And I think that Bianca, being the athlete that she is only getting better. And it's kind of terrifying to watch because it's like nobody should be that talented. And Bianca she proves it day in and day out that, like, even if the creative isn't necessarily behind her, like they were early in her run, they weren't really giving her anything. Yeah. She made it work because she's so good. And now we're seeing more and more of that. And that's what you need in that stalwart champion. That's a person who's back, you can build the division off of. Yeah. Very impressed with her. Finn Balor, the Gimp mask. We need more Gimps in wrestling. Said that. So shout out to Finn. I tell you what, like I'm going to jump just a little bit ahead to Raw for just a second.
Okay.
Storytelling, right? Like that's what we like in wrestling. That's why we gravitate towards wrestling. Did you notice that Rhea Ripley had a memorial armband for Beth Phoenix on Monday Night Raw? just a little dig in there. I love that. That's storytelling. Good. I like that. And I think every time Rhea shows up, like people are excited to see like her just destroy somebody. Male, female, doesn't matter. So that's good. Riddle, the fight pit does not have good traction on that top, as shown. Oof. And yeah, he hit poor Seth flush. And
he did. He didn't. There was no elevation, Aaron. He literally just
fell, descended onto his body.
He did, and he's a good enough athlete. He's got a strong enough core to where he could turn himself to not hurt him as bad. But he fucking hit him flush. That's for sure. And then we'll talk about Bray Wyatt's return. The grabber mask, a riff on the grabber mask, I think. But we'll just go from there. I thought it was a fun show. Can't really ask for much more from a show entirely of gimmicks and, like Chris mentioned, void of Lashley, the Bloodline, and so many other people as well.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. Let's take a look at this right now and jump into the Bray Wyatt situation. So he came back. This had been teased. A lot of people thought maybe it was a misdirect, and we even debated whether it was going to be him or not. I even saw some people saying during the stream that it was going to be Charlotte as a big F you to everybody, which I think would have caused a riot in Philadelphia. Yeah. And in the end, they went with the obvious choice, but the way they did it really spoke volumes about how you can still make the obvious choice work so well in how they started everything. You knew immediately when the lights went out what was going to happen. All the phones went up with their lights, and then the shots of everybody in the VOMs or in the walkways there, and then boom, the door, and then hearing all that noise, and then it opening and him coming out with the lantern, which is of course all the way back to the original Bray Wyatt. And so really fascinating mixture of all the personalities of Bray coming together. They even showed the old fun house with cobwebs on it and all that shit, which was genius. So I swing back to you, Aaron. How did you feel about how they brought him back? And think about the fact that they brought him back at Extreme Rules, not WrestleMania, not SummerSlam, not Royal Rumble. Did you feel that it was the right time because the fervor had gotten so big? And in the end, was it worth it?
I don't think the original plan was to bring him back at Extreme Rules, but like you just said, the fervor got so loud, they're like, shit, we can't do this for much longer. They're going to kill us all. So I think the way they did it was perfect, honestly. Like, you go through his history and you kind of forget some of Bray's history. Like, he's the Swamp Man. The original idea of Bray Wyatt in NXT was a riff on Max Cady from Cape Fear. That was it. he's a swamp man and he's like he's a bad guy and all this kind of stuff. And it just, it evolved from there. We got the Fiend, we got all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. And I think that the way they did it, like you said, the Firefly Funhouse, the cobwebs, it's like, okay, yes, this is a part of him. It may not necessarily be going forward, but we can do different things with him as well. So I appreciate them getting right to it, because like the lights go out, you don't hear anything for a second, and then he's got the whole world in his hands. Obviously Bray Wyatt talking. So we've got it, we're done. And then we switch to the different characters and all that stuff, that showing what Bray Wyatt was and used to be. Then he comes to the door, he's got the lantern, it's obviously Bray Wyatt, he blows it out, and we're done. And then we show the new logo, which I don't know if we want to get too much on the weeds on this, but like it is, I think, a riff on, if you're aware of dark net stories or deep net stories, I think it's Cicada something, I think like 1033 or something like that. It's a riff on that because that's the logo, but it's also a riff on the Death's Head Moth from Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
So we kind of get the spooky stuff that way. He comes out in the mask that is very reminiscent of the Grabber from the Black Phone. So Bray is doing all these different things. And I think SmackDown, we'll talk about that later, I guess, but like, I don't know how you could have done it imperfectly. We've got the stuff with Luke Harper, like the tributes to Luke Harper with the mask and the Brody Lee door. Like,
yeah.
And that also folds into the SmackDown promo. It's just, I don't know how you bring him back any better. I'm glad they, like Chris said, I'm glad they didn't bring him in to do a run-in during a match, because I think that would have just killed it. So he's here, he's back. Congratulations. We can all just hug Bray Wyatt and welcome him back. And I don't think you could have done it much better.
Yeah, you talk about the logo. We should take a look at it real quick. I mean, this is the logo there. As Aaron mentioned here, the upside down thing is really interesting. The lightning bolt, the cicada, the skull. I don't know what that is underneath the wings, underneath the lightning bolts. Maybe another face, maybe another creature. I don't know. But really unsettling. I thought Edge's shirt was unsettling with the devil and all that shit. This is even more unsettling for so many reasons. So Chris, back to to you, man. I mean, what did you think about how they rolled out Bray Wyatt and brought him back, and the reaction as well?
When you have characters like this and presentations like this, it can get really easy to let your impatience turn into irritants, where you're just like, okay, you know what I mean? All the teasing and all what is it? What's going on? But the beauty of how Bray's mind works, he gives you just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Just enough. He didn't come out and cut a promo on Extreme Rules. He didn't come out and say, hey, look, I got a stable. He can't, or anything like that. It was like, here's something that's familiar. Here's something that ain't so familiar.
Yeah.
And I'm back. Here's another wrinkle to it. Catch you next time. And I was like, oh, you know what I mean? And you're just like, you're excited. And then it's like, oh, and you're left wanting, like I said, you're given just enough to want so much more.
Yeah.
And then I was even upset that he didn't show up on Monday Night Raw, that they kind of gave a recap of what happened.
Yeah.
But it ended up making the SmackDown promo that much better.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that, I mean, that's really my main takeaway from it, where it was just like more questions than answers.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do when you've been having nothing but questions for so long.
It's true.
And now fully invested in the unraveling of these parts, of these layers, I mean, and I don't know how much of it is Bray. I don't know how much of it is Triple H. I don't know how much of it is Rob Fee, their new hire. It's like, but I am completely in. Like I am so. Nothing is more joyous in wrestling than when the kayfabe completely has you, and I am in the web of whatever this is. So, kudos to him. I mean, should we just talk about SmackDown since we're just
let's do it.
About Bray?
You want to talk about okay, sure. Let's talk about the promo, the 8-minute promo.
I mean, Aaron started, to talk about it,
Yep.
but just like so much speculation as to what version of Wyatt would return, right? Is it going to be the original Waylon Mercy kind of Bray Wyatt? Is it going to be the Fiend? What is it going to be? What is the Wyatt 6? Right. You know what I mean? Again, questions upon questions. And he comes out, new music.
Yeah.
Again, something new.
It was like happy and inspirational. And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah. But has the lantern. Something
Yeah.
familiar.
Yeah.
So again, the play off of what I know and what I don't know. And then when he blows the lantern out, he's not any version we've seen before on television. He's himself.
Yeah.
As much as himself can be, presented on television.
Right.
But the promo, at least, was all Wyndham Rotunda, as far as I could see. And I got somewhat emotional when Kevin Owens cut that promo about I'm a representation of everything they said couldn't make it in WWE.
Yeah.
And I'm breaking the mold and that and the other. But dude, how could you not get invested in him talking about losing Brody Lee and losing his self-confidence and feeling like everything he did didn't matter in WWE, and how it was the fans who saved him, because no matter how much he tried to hide, we sought him out, and so many people told him that he saved their lives. And either he's an Oscar level actor, fan thespian, or that was absolute real emotion and real sentiment and real tears welling up in his eyes, and just him thanking everybody. And then once again, then it turns on you. Yeah. And the weirdo mask, Ethan Hawke, shows up and tells us all, we don't know who we're dealing with, but we're going to find out. And now I'm scared again. I'm scared. I don't know where I'm going. I'm down the rabbit hole. Yeah. I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see what's next. And when wrestling gives you that feeling of, oh man, I gotta see next week. That is just such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. It was perfectly done. Can't wait to see more. I could talk forever about this, but obviously we have a show, so I want everybody's opinion. Oh my God,
Aaron, please go ahead.
I'm like Chris, man. When he came out there and he started talking, he's like, "Listen, man," like immediately to the crying, like not even waiting and saying that people saved him. And he said, I lost people, man. Like I lost friends. I lost, my job. I lost my career. I lost my way. And I was just like, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, because we've all lost people that we love, right? Sure. We've all probably been fired or let go or something from a job that we wanted. And I really felt that part of it. But then my fucking wrestling brain just wouldn't let me enjoy it. Because he kept saying, Bray, like, oh, they would say, Bray, you saved me. Bray, you did this. I was like, oh, he's in character. He's not being Wyndham. So I knew it was going to get fishy at some point. Yeah. And then it did. And apparently we've got like the Court of Owls and the fucking grabber. I don't know what we're doing with that, but it's just enough. Like Chris said, it's just, or as Daddy Magic Matt Menard would say, just a little taste of what we're going to get. So just a taste. And I'm fine with that, because, sometimes with wrestlers and presentations, less is more. Yeah. I think a guy with Bray Wyatt, less is more in that situation. A guy like Darby Allin, I think I need more of Darby Allin, not less. Yeah. So that's my correlation. But great, phenomenal. Watched it again this morning just to really sink it in. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, when he came out and he's just, given his feelings and his thoughts about the whole situation, I actually went back, and I'm probably going to shit for this, but I actually went back and watched a couple of my live stuff, and when I've like really been speaking about where I'm at when I was doing the stuff with the Schmodown, and I was like connecting with what he was doing, because I'm like, this is genius. This is how you come back. You put your heart on the sleeve. Fans will sense your authenticity and connect with you. And then, just like Aaron said, my mind was like, is this real? Is this not? Where's the turn happening? Is there a turn happening? Shit, is he a face now? What is this? What they're going to do? If this is the route they go, he is going to absolutely overwhelm, supersede everybody. He will absolutely go to the next level, to the point where it's going to be Reigns and Wyatt at WrestleMania. Like that to me, fuck The Rock, no offense, but like Wyatt and Reigns at WrestleMania, in my opinion, if they were going to go the face route. And then the fucking screen changes. And I was like, oh, this is genius. This is absolute genius. Triple H must take a moment where he's sitting by himself and has like a giggle or a smirk, or like just when he's by himself, looking at how this has all blown up since Vince left and he took over. Everything that people were predicting could happen has been happening since Triple H took over. And yeah, like Chris, I don't know how much is Triple H, Wyatt, and Robbie Fee you mentioned. I don't know, but whoever the fuck it is and whatever combination it is working so well, step by step, piece by piece. And like you said, you give just enough. And that promo was 8 minutes long. He didn't speak for 8 minutes, but the entire sequence was 8 minutes long. And even that wasn't enough. And that you left them wanting more. And because of that switch, I thought was genius. Now, if he's using the emotional stuff to tell this incredibly brilliant mental health story, then fuck me. This is going to be incredible, because it'll be a high wire act, the likes that we've never seen in professional wrestling, to the level that it's going to go up if he goes that route. Because him talking about how the fans were there and all this kind of stuff. So then what does the mask represent? What does that creature, that thing represent that came in? You know, you talk about the grabber mask. We see that mask there, and then we saw it in the video screen, and the little things that were said, like your life is over. Forget the future, forget the past. Everything is over. What does that mean? So is this going to be a fiend in a way that we've never seen before? I just have so many questions, which is so exciting with someone like Bray Wyatt, who you both have said, and certainly I've accepted, is one of the most intelligent guys visually, entertainment-wise, and story-wise in professional wrestling. So we can analyze it to death, but what's the real joy here is being able to get to sit back and enjoy it all happening and watch it all unfolding, because I have a feeling that he's going to get way more license under the Triple H administration than he did under Vince, and we are going to be the recipients of that. We're going to get the benefits of that situation, in my opinion.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off there, but I'm seeing someone in the chat. Seen someone in the chat saying that Jeff Hardy passed away.
What?
I am on. I don't know if it's a troll. I don't.
Okay.
I don't see it
Twitter and Google,
yeah, I don't see it anywhere.
That happened. I don't see it anywhere.
I'm gonna put him in timeout until we figure out what the truth is. So anyway, so So what did you guys? So is there anything more to say on, like, who are we gonna get announcements on who is part of his crew? I mean, there were already TikTok videos that were put up showing the people that were in the masks. I think even Liv Morgan was one of the people in one of the masks, just for fun, right? But does that mean these are the people that are going to be a part of it? And Sports Kita was reporting that there is already one person that they think is going to be a member here, Colin Delaney. I think this is a current report.
What?
Yeah, October 13th, 2022. So reported Lee Walker Delaney, who has most recently been working for AEW, is set to link back up with his friends backstage in WWE. He's leaving his job at the toy company he works for and will be full-time with WWE again as a hashtag Wyatt6 member. So that's what they're reporting. So I don't know if that's 100% true, because obviously until they announce it. But yeah, so, and certainly he's been part of ECW in the past. So
guys, I'm here to tell you, man, like, I understand the whole conspiracy theory and things like running wild, but it can also, like, if it's not true and you work yourself up into this frenzy, it can cause disappointment. I mean, look at The Last Jedi. Like, people hyped themselves up for that movie so much because, oh man, it's going to be great. It's going to be this. And then you go there and it's not that at all. Not unlike Halloween Ends. And it just completely pulls the rug out from under you and you're pissed. So just calm down on the Wyatt 6 stuff. Like we're gonna get there, but just hold on. Like you pump the brakes. Like let's.
All right.
I agree wholeheartedly because I like people are speaking like factually like about what the Wyatt 6 is. It's like you don't know. You know what I mean? Like, no one knows. Like Wyatt may know. You know what I'm saying? And the backstage may know, but we don't know. We don't know if it's a faction. We don't know if it's his personalities running around in his head and it becomes a whole thing. We don't know if it's a whole. Someone I saw a person put a theory up. What if his first feud is with himself? And I was like, yo, well, that's an interesting idea. You know what I mean? Like,
it would be the mental health thing. Good work.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like. There's so many things that can happen. We truly don't know. So I agree. Don't work yourself up into a prison of expectation. Just enjoy the ride. It's a great ride so far. And let the creatives do what they do. And let's just enjoy the story because it's phenomenal so far. And it's in good hands.
Yeah. And I hate, and I'm going to throw this in there. There's a report here from Ringside News. They're saying that the mask that was brought in for the Wyatt segments has been referred to as an Uncle Howdy mask internally, and WWE filed a trademark for the name Uncle Howdy on October 8th. So just a week ago. So we'll see if they start selling them as Uncle Howdy masks. And what does that mean? Uncle Howdy. What does that mean? So
just don't call it Captain Howdy. We're getting into Exorcist trademark area, so let's not do that.
I just love the notion of them making it merch and little kids are wearing. Hideous thing is like.
When I went to the Royal Rumble in 2016, they were selling the Eric Rowan like sheep mask.
Yeah,
and I bought one, and there was so many little kids running around with that creepy ass mask on. I was like, "Oh God, get away from me!"
Yeah.
Do you think there's a name that hasn't really been thrown around with this Wyatt 6 thing? He's still out there. Like
who?
Eric Rowan.
Oh yeah,
the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
He's shown up occasionally on AEW, but he's not signed to AEW. He could easily be brought back as part of this thing. Or Dan Spivey is alive. Waylon Mercy himself is a living person still.
They're not bringing back Dan Spivey. I'm sorry. They bring back Sid before they bring back Dan Spivey.
So who knows?
There are rumors out there that Bo Dallas is coming back and that he's already been re-signed. And then just another thing to throw in here. We talk about Triple H's regime, right? But I was reading an article this morning that whether or not it's true, I mean, it seems like it would be true, that the USA executives for USA Network are pretty effing pleased about the ratings and content that WWE's been putting out lately.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't they be, dude? Like I said, the reaction here has been so great and way beyond expectations, I would imagine, right? Even I don't think anybody could have predicted how quickly Triple H made these changes with his production team, his creative team, and put it in motion and have the wrestlers come back at the right time, pretty much, and then have the fans react to it in such a positive way as well. So overall, and I'll tell you what, it's kind of lit a fire under AEW's ass. It's so funny to see that AEW was the one lighting a fire under Vince's ass with WWE, and now the tables have turned, and AEW is going to be like, oh, fuck, we got to compete with this. We got to go to someplace else. We got to find, everybody's got to put out a premium live event level match every time they're walking out there for Dynamite or Rampage or any for our pay-per-views. So it's good to see that, I think, overall.
I think it goes to what we've been saying, where it's like, I think the frustration in the fans it's rooted in that the creative's been so bad in WWE for so long.
They want it to be good. Yes.
But it's also heavily influenced by the fact that it's not that hard. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't like these big sweeping changes needed to happen. Things would occur and we'd be like, damn, if they would have just tweaked it like this, you know what I mean? It would have been great, but they ruined it. And that happens so many times. And what did we see Triple H do? Incremental change. Small things here, small things there. And they add up to big change, which is WWE now. Like I said, for so long we were like, oh, without Roman, I don't care about anything that's happening on the program. Now it's like, can I interest you in a Bray Wyatt? Can I interest you in a Sheamus and the Brawling Brutes? Can I interest you in a Gunther? Can I interest you in a Seth Rollins? Can I interest you in a Matt Riddle? Can I interest you? You know what I'm saying? It's like so many things are really, really good now that it's like, oh shit. And Roman is now almost like a dessert that you get with this soupçon of offerings that WWE's giving you.
Mon chéri. Yeah, I mean,
Mr. Burns, can I interest you in a carrying cross? Do you like a carrying cross?
No, not for me.
Can I interest you in this souffle, also known as a Bailey? And Kevin, don't forget Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
Judgment Day is kind of back on track. Like, Johnny Gargano. Hey, you like Johnny Gargano? There he is. You like his wife, Candice LeRae? There she is. Ha! I knew you'd like it.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, I want to with this Bray Wyatt situation. All right, Bo Dallas. Do we think Liv Morgan is going to join? It seems like that's where they're going. She'll be the new Alexa Bliss in the crew.
Okay.
All right, Joe Gacy.
It fits, but where are you going to put the other? He's in a stable. You're going to have those two guys go back to what they were doing? Hopefully, because it sucks. Okay.
What about Grayson Waller? That's a name that's been
that makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's the one to me that people keep throwing around. I'm like, that doesn't fit his personality or anything.
This is my whole thing about the Wyatt Six being a stable. Like everyone, people are throwing out besides Bo Dallas. I'm like, no, that sucks. I don't want that. No one wants.
What if it's just nothing? Like, what if they're not a stable?
Yeah, they're just actors that are hired at every town, like the Godfather's hose. Yeah. To show up for the I'm cool with that.
And we said we've never seen a sinister three faces of Foley, and this could be the version of that. And that's a super cool idea in my opinion.
Well, that's true. Zeno Hour bringing up that Eva Marie, of course, trying to take advantage of the popularity of this, put out a tweet or a TikTok where she's like, if I make this shot, then I come back to the WWE and it's the Alexa Bliss doll or whatever I think it was. Which was ridiculous. So, like trying to stay relevant in this kind of scenario. I hope that's a bridge too far.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
What'd you say?
No one said Bo Dallas was coming back to wrestle.
That's true. You
just be doing backstage sex.
Yeah. Eva Marie is the bridge too far. Do not bring Eva Marie back. You're doing so good. All right, let's take a quick break and let's jump into our next section here. I got to do these for the podcast. All right, so where are we off to next? Oh, no, I should hit some of these Streamlabs. Sorry about that. Some of these super chats that have come through since we started. Chris Milner saying, please tell me you guys saw Bobby Fish's promo. I did not see the promo. I read about the promo. I don't know. Did you guys see it? Anything to take away from this promo at all?
That would require me to watch Impact Wrestling, and I watched Raven's induction ceremony into the Hall of Fame. Shout out to Raven, but other than that, I haven't even heard of this. What is going on?
Well, it was during the latest he was talking about Bound for Glory. He made his in-ring debut, and when he entered the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, the crowd started to chant CM Punk, and he was booed. And this was after he threw shade at CM Punk and challenged him to a fight. And he said, it's become a thing, I guess. And I don't know. If you hate me, you hate me. I'm okay with it. If I come home and my wife's still there, the rest of it, it's all bullshit. Totally different. And they were, he said the crowd compared to the Bound for Glory crowd, the TV taping was different. And they were, and you're 100% right. Somebody tried to give me their child the second night. Like, please take my infant. So kind of a weird response to all of this, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's Bobby Fish. Like,
you just hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Because I think Bobby Fish doesn't realize that he's Bobby Fish. Like, you are not in the Undisputed Era or the Undisputed Elite anymore. So I hate to tell you this, Mr. Fish, but when it was a 3-man group, you were the number 3. When it was a 4-man group, you were the number 4. Yeah. So that's not good. And without Adam Cole Bebe and Kyle O'Reilly, you ain't nothing. So
fair enough.
I saw a meme of like the Jurassic Park Dennis Nedry, like, Fish, we got Bobby Fish here, and I was like, see, nobody cares. And I was like, I mean, listen, it is what it is.
Throw in Stephen A. Smith. I'm going to be honest with you. Nobody cares.
Orlando Orrego says, for a B-level premium live event, it was a great show talking about Extreme Rules. Happy to see Bray back in the WWE. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like for a pay-per-view that was all gimmicks. Pretty good.
Yeah. MDB 2006 says, just use Bray as an attraction a couple times a year and it works out perfectly. Yeah, could they go the MJF route with Bray where he just wrestles like 9 times in the whole year? Or do you think would be a mistake for Bray?
I say do that.
Yeah?
I say definitely do that. The Fiend failed because they overexposed it.
Right.
And you don't want to do that. You can't. If he has to reinvent himself again from misuse, I mean, he should sue the WWE, in my opinion.
That's true. That's a good point. What do they say? Justin Toner says Bobby Fish is a small fish in a big pond. Yeah, that's use the term there. All right, let's move on here. And sorry, y'all. Fucking long COVID. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go along. Send in support for the show. We break down and jump into all this stuff. We got over 100 of you watching us right now, so please send in your questions, thoughts, and comments on the Streamlabs and on the Super Chats. Super Chats, YouTube takes 50%, so we prefer the Streamlabs, but whatever you can send in, we'd like you to do. So where are we off to next here, Aaron? Jesus.
We are going to Monday Night Raw.
How the fuck is it 9:50 already? All right, let's get through this shit. Let's go.
Yeah. So I'm just going to run down Monday Night Raw. We start off with the Bloodline and Sammy saying that Jey Uso hasn't been very Uso lately.
This is the greatest thing this side of Bray Wyatt. Go ahead.
Johnny Gargano defeated Austin Theory with one final beat. Someone said that Austin Theory has lost 26 matches in a row since Triple H. I don't know if that's true, but that's fucking wild.
Check the Miz's record. It ain't that much better. Anyway, yeah.
Well, Mrs. Never mind. Rey Mysterio defeated Chad Gable and then took his ass to SmackDown. Judgment Day cuts a promo trying to recruit AJ Styles when they are interrupted by returning Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, my.
So there's that. Candice LeRae defeated Bayley with an inside cradle. Miz's birthday party ends with Dexter Lumis choking him out yet again. Omos defeated some local talent. And then we got a returning, I don't know if you ever heard this guy, Brock Lesnar returned before the Rollins Lashley match and beat down Bobby Lashley, which allowed Seth Rollins to defeat Lashley with a stomp to win the United States Championship. Matt Riddle defeated Sami Zayn with an RKO. It will be Riddle and Rollins next week again for the United States Championship this time. What? And then DX had a reunion without Billy Gunn. That was Monday Night Raw.
All right. Take it away, Chris. Thoughts?
I don't know of new adjectives to give to the Bloodline Sami Zayn storyline. Again, multi-layered, multifaceted. Everyone involved is great from top to bottom. No weak links in the situation. Solo Sikoa is great. The Usos are great. Sammy's amazing. Roman's amazing. Heyman's amazing. And now, and it's like now everyone's like hitting turns to feud with them. Like now it's like going to be Sheamus and the Brutes versus the Bloodline. I guess from Smack. Oh, I love it. I love everything about it. So I'm just going to move on. Rey Mysterio, I don't even think we need to go match by match. Rey Mysterio, okay. Chad Gable. Oh, that was decent. Okay, it's fine. Let's get to the Judgment Day situation. I haven't been this interested in AJ in quite a little while. And I love the way he executed it. AJ, not really known for his acting and his promo skills and that kind of thing. But you got to give it to him.
Can I say something? I've been watching some old TNA shit on because I got the sports package on my YouTube TV to get the Red Zone. Ooh, AJ. Woo, AJ, man. The acting skills, you're 100% right.
Not a promo guy.
Yeah,
not his thing.
Never been there, man.
Not his thing. Look, but not his thing. However, gotta give it up on the I wasn't talking about you line. Gotta give it up. He sold it perfectly well. And Aaron, I know how you feel about my guys. Okay? I know how you feel about my good brothers. I'm gonna brother you both softly right now. But I mean, what I keep saying it every week. The world is Bullet Club, baby. Come on. Raw spiked to 2.2 million when the Good Brothers debuted.
Dude, the reaction, the pop. I was shocked at the pop. I thought it would be mild.
Be an accident. Yeah. Come on, baby. The boys are back together. Granted, Gallows and Anderson started with Finn, but they're more synonymous with AJ, right? So, I mean, it's good to see the boys back together. It's wonderful when brothers commune and unite. And now it gives a new direction for Judgment Day, because apparently Ray is gone and on SmackDown now.
Yes, he is.
According to SmackDown. I mean, according to what happened kayfabe-wise, which I thought was an amazing decision, and we'll get to that too. So I'm excited to see what happens, because you may think the Good Brothers are boring or whatever it is.
Yes.
All I ask you is, what stories were they put in when they were first in WWE?
Yeah.
I believe they were taking like literal piss and throwing it at the New Day.
Yeah, literal piss. And then they tried to get the nerd thing over. They weren't used well. You know what I'm saying? These guys, they can go. I mean, we're talking about the Machine Gun and Big Dog Gallows. Come on, man. They can be entertaining. They can work the mic. Let's see what they look like under Triple H. That's all I'm asking. Give the guys a chance. Can you do that? Can you give the Good Brothers a chance?
Nerds. Yeah, I guess I can. I'm gonna give them a chance. It's a short leash, but I'm gonna give them a chance.
All right. Fair enough. A decent match. I actually remember when we talked about how I felt like Bayley needed to win the title.
Yeah.
Again, if anyone is going to be able to pull off a losing streak storyline, it's going to be Bayley, right? It's going to be Bayley. So I'm with that. That's totally good. WWE, you went a week too long with the Dexter Lumis thing. A week too long.
Yeah.
That thing was terrible, dude. Terrible. Miz messed it up. Maurice messed it up, and Dexter Lumis messed it up. It was bad all around.
It was the inverse of when the game was on the line and everyone knew Michael Jordan was going to take the shot. Yeah. It was the inverse of that, because not a single human being was surprised that Dexter showed up at the birthday party, but everyone didn't give a shit. It was like, it's been like 8 weeks of this. He shows up, he chokes him out, blah, 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 blah. Wow, did Maurice miss the cake entirely. God. Yeah. That segment just was a nightmare from beginning to end. Yeah. And I think the audience finally realized it. Why are we cheering for this guy? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Like, what? Eat the cake was the biggest moment of the entire segment. Cheering for someone to take a bite of a goddamn cake. Yeah. That should tell you everything you need to know. Omos, I've been saying it for weeks. I can kind of see where they're going with this, and they showed us on SmackDown. And then, who would have guessed, of all the people that we've been like, oh, so-and-so will come back, so-and-so will come back. We knew it would happen eventually. You know what I mean? But Brock Lesnar returning on a random ass Monday Night Raw. And there's certain guys that it's the opposite of wrestling sensibility, where you don't need a story necessarily. Yeah. Lashley and Brock, it's just like, I just want to see those two dudes fight. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
I don't need a whole lot of buildup. I don't need a whole lot of preamble. I want to see y'all go at it, because the last time they went at it, it wasn't, I don't think they handled that story very well.
Yeah, it wasn't a clean match.
And now, as much as they built up Lashley, this could be really good. This could be really, really, really good. So super excited about that. Great surprise. I called it that Rollins would win the U.S. title last week, and perfect way to do it.
Yep.
You can't be mad at someone who just got F5 several times and putting a Kimura lock and losing the U.S. title to a Seth Rollins of all people. So Lashley's protected. You get the belt off of him so that it can move forward with Seth. Great episode. And then ending with the DX thing. You know what? Usually they put these things in the middle and they have some youngster interrupt them, and you guys are has-beens, and then they get their finishers off. I'm glad that this didn't happen. You know what? Let's have a little fun, give the guys their flowers, and get the hell out of there. Classy move by Shawn Michaels to have the scissors going most of the promo, shouting out Billy Gunn. Because from what I understand, WWE reached out to use him, and AEW said no.
Damn, dude.
They tried to do the right thing, guys. I think AEW's feeling a little salty. A little salty.
We were winning. We were winning. That's basically what it is. By the way, we got a special guest who popped into the show here. Emily Turner. WWE needs to give the people what they want. Rick Boogs. What do you think there, Aaron, about
no one asked for her opinion. No, I'm just kidding. Let me tell you something about Emily Turner, besides her being beautiful and happy 10 years to me and my wife.
That's right. Happy anniversary.
She came in at the tail end of Extreme Rules, like she got off work, and she came in there, and I'm watching the Bray Wyatt thing, and she was like, this is too long. And then he just comes out there and blows out the lantern. She goes, that's it? Said he hasn't been there in over a year. We love him. And she's just like, she's not into it.
Not because it wasn't Boogs. She'd have taken an 8-minute Boogs reveal. I tell you that right now. I bet she'd have been all right.
She does love Rick Boogs. Yeah,
she does love Rick Boogs. All right. Here's what I'll say real quick. The bloodline shit. Oh my god. This is the greatest stuff. This is the greatest stuff. And let me tell you something. Rewatch these segments and watch every person's face as things are happening. Initially, when Zayn interrupted Reigns, I reflexively went, oh shit. Oh no, don't do that. And then Heyman said that, right? Which I thought was great. And then he looked at Roman and it was like, oh, I'm sorry, Chief. But as Zayn is going person to person, watch Heyman's face. He does a sly look at Roman. He's essentially betraying what's coming, and he's laying the groundwork like a good fucking knowledgeable big picture guy does, long picture guy does, and it's perfect. And Sami Zayn, this is the great route. The more he feels himself, the more he's going to go at these guys and think like he's Roman Reigns' right-hand man, and him saying stuff like, we shared personal stuff. We're really connected. All of it. And then Jay's anger, like, dude, we're family. What the fuck? You're letting this guy talk to me? You letting this guy talk to me this way? Him having that stuff with Jimmy. It's not going to be Jay that turns on Sammy. It's going to be Jimmy. When Jimmy makes that turn, Sammy is going to be fucking shocked. And when Solo picks him up from behind and does what he does, and then everybody kicks the shit out of him like something out of a gang, it is going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal. And the way they're setting it up is genius. And Sami Zayn, just so perfect in what he's doing and the way they're letting this all play out. And of course, it cost him the match later because Jay stopped Jimmy from interfering. So that's going to add more stuff. But of course, on SmackDown, it kind of turned around against Kofi Kingston. So I thought it was genius. I thought all of that was absolutely fucking great. Gargano Theory, this is fun. Gargano's finisher is so good, dude. One of the best things to watch. Gable, Mysterio, cool. The Judgment Day stuff, I actually popped for Gallows and Anderson because I feel like they're going to get a better run this time. And seeing the crowd be over for them, plus their new T-shirt is fucking awesome, and I may go buy that one as well. So you might see me in a Gallows and Anderson shirt by next week, Aaron, or the week after. We'll see when it comes in. Candice LeRae, I'm shocked that Bayley lost again. So what angle are we playing with Bayley now that she's lost to Bianca and Candice LeRae, essentially back-to-back? And even though they came in and beat down Candice, she still lost. So is this going to slowly start to be a thing that turns the damage control against Bayley, that she keeps losing or keeps not coming up aces in these matches? I just wonder. It's just interesting, that decision. We already said the Miz thing is terrible. Maurice, if you're going to keep yanking your skirt down, don't wear a skirt so short. It's either one or the other. Please stop. It totally kills the rhythm of the thing. Let it play out the way it's supposed to, or wear pants, for God's sakes. Because it just, to me, the constant adjusting, it tears the rhythm of the whole sketch away, because that means you're very self-aware about what's happening. And it just, to me, it doesn't work. It throws it off. Lesnar, that was all great. Oh, sorry, what?
I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
Lesnar was great. I enjoyed Lesnar and all of that. So Lashley, Lesnar set it up. Riddle and Zayn, so cool. The DX thing was great, and I'll tell you why. As a man who's getting older, I really sympathized with Triple H. Like at the beginning when they were talking, he was telling, hey guys, you can tell the heart attack thing has really slowed H down. You can tell, man, and it's heartbreaking to watch. You know, it's like watching Bobby Heenan talk after the cancer stuff. Like it's hard to watch people who were so powerful all of a sudden be reduced because of health stuff. But you see, it was like really limited, and Sean still kind of got it a little bit, and the guys are all still ball busting the Cox, the 4 Cox. I mean, all of that was funny shit. But you see, he was like kind of bothered by it. Then when he got in the ring, and then admits that he ran out of breath before he does the suck it, all of it works so well. X-Pac giving love to China was so cool, and then them talking, as you said, about badass Billy Gunn, and was it Corey Graves who made a comment about office equipment, the fucking monkey. Yeah. And then the he shut the fuck up, Corey. Mm-hmm. And then everything ended, and you're right. You're absolutely right, Chris. No interference. Let it play out. Let everybody enjoy DX25. And I might even buy one of those shirts because I like those DX25 shirts they put out. So overall, I thought this was a fucking good Raw. Not great, but damn good for sure. What do you think, Aaron?
I'll give Peace a chance. I'll give the Good Brothers a chance. Let me go ahead and jump to. If you cannot make a segment work with The Miz, who basically makes everything work.
Yeah.
And who said in the chat that Alex Brunner said in the chat Maurice is a terrible actress. Maurice is a part of the package deal. So
yeah, there's no cutting that out. Yeah.
With The Miz, it's like DLC. It's like we got Maurice, downloadable content. She's so good at Maurice, where Maurice's strength is, and I don't mean this mean at all. Where she's good at is being a total bitch. And like, go back and look at that Cena and Nikki Bella rivalry they had. Oh my Lord, she was perfect during that.
She was eviscerating poor.
Maurice is great. She's part of the deal. But if The Miz can't make it work, we need to retool because it's not working. We've seen Dexter Lumis attack The Miz for like 2 months. Like he's got to get something on him.
Yeah, and Aaron, real quick, I think what Chris said is correct. Making the audience self-aware that they're cheering for a stalker means you've let the angle go out too long. You've let without making something different. So, which you were saying earlier, Aaron, in past few episodes, why is the audience cheering for a stalker? So
good to see Brock Lesnar. Give me Brock and Bobby Lashley all day long.
Yeah.
Then again, my brain starts running. So it's like, oh, Brock Lesnar and Sheamus. Oh, Brock Lesnar and Gunther. Like it just starts running when that happens. So that's great. You were talking about Triple H. Like, how about Waltman, dude? Like Sean Waltman looks fantastic.
I got to get Sean.
Looks great.
Sean and I go back and forth on Twitter all the time. I got to get Sean on the show. You're right.
He looks fantastic. So good for him for taking. I know that he was training to get back in wrestling. I know he did some stuff with GCW, but he looks great. It looks great. All those guys, of course, DX was 25 years ago. So that was when I was in, I think, 5th grade when that started. So always good to see those guys. I'm glad they gave love to Billy Gunn in China. They let the crowd do it, which everybody was going to do anyway.
Yeah, true.
I'm not surprised that AEW didn't let Billy come over for that. But at the same time, it's not like that Billy and Triple H and those guys have a bad relationship because they do not at all. So it works. It was a fine episode of Raw. Brock Lesnar coming back really surprised the hell out of me. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I popped for that too. It was kind of crazy. All right, let's see. We got one super chat that came through. MDB 2006 says, no more Jericho. He's an anchor on that program. We'll get to that AEW stuff in just a second here. And Justin Toner says, hey guys, Mia Yim's contract. I heard Mia Yim's contract with Impact has expired. Where do you think she will go? Back to WWE or to AEW? Should have seen the Good Brothers return coming on Raw. Makes sense. AJ would bring them in to help him against Judgment Day. Yeah. Mia Yim, is that a possibility? AEW or EW or WWE?
I think everyone who Triple H had in NXT and that is available is a possibility. Fair I think enough. He wants everyone back.
Okay. What do you think, Aaron?
I like Mia Yim. Could she come back? Certainly. I think she'd be a big boost to that AEW division. I hate to say it, but I think she'd be a big boost. I think, unfortunately, if she comes back to Raw or SmackDown, I just feel like she'll get lost because we like we said, we've got Charlotte coming back on the horizon. We've got Sasha and Naomi eventually, I guess.
Yeah.
Got Becky coming back eventually. You know, who's there right now? Ronda, Bianca.
A lot of people, man.
It's a lot. It's going to be a lot for her to fight through. I think AEW is a lot shorter of a totem pole to climb. I think she's good enough to do that. Plus, she'll be with her husband. So, yeah.
Oh, right. That
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
God, Aaron, you saying all those names. What an embarrassment of riches in the WWE right now.
Yeah,
We've just cooed over all these different storylines and angles and wrestlers that we're loving right now. And then you just rattled off like 4 people who are huge deals that aren't even around anymore. And of course, Rick Boogs, who's recovering from his ACL injury, that he'll be back at some point too. Goodness gracious, what a time to be alive.
And Nakamura. We'll have Nakamura back.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, Murderante saying Road Dogg's D-Geriatric X line was funny. Fuck yeah, that was hilarious. Those guys embraced it. I love that they embraced it, and they didn't try to be old men still trying to be relevant. Like, the fact that they spoke into it made them even more DX. Like, it was an even more DX thing to do, to talk about how old they are or whatever, because you know they can still go throw down if they need to, but they'll also make fun of it and not try to still be holding on to their 20s when they're in their 50s. So I love that. That was fucking
big
genius.
facts. I love the Shawn Michaels line of, if we see us back here in 25 more years, put us out of our misery. Don't let us do this again. Oh, it was great.
So true. All right, Aaron, anything more, or shall we move on?
No, we can move on.
Okay. All right. Keep sending in Streamlabs SuperChats, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump into a little review of Tales of the Territories, episode 2. All right, Aaron, let's get into this thing. I watched it yesterday, had so much fun. Tell us about it.
Man, I'm here to tell you, it's a great episode, another great episode. Tales from the Territories, episode 2. It was essentially Memphis part 2, but it was really all about the King versus Kaufman. Same roundtable as last week: Jerry Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Lawler, Jimmy Hart, and Dutch Mantel. Started off with a great story about Kaufman approaching Vince McMahon Sr. to wrestle in front of a live crowd, and Vince McMahon Sr. was like, "Yeah, nobody wants to see that shit." And then Kaufman doing his promos, really healing it up against Jerry Lawler and the Memphis territory, to the point where Andy Kaufman was fighting women in the crowd.
I didn't know that was fake. Real, rather. I didn't know that was real. I thought
unbelievable,
staged and actresses. It's crazy,
unbelievable. And he was having great success until he ran into a person named Foxy that kind of whooped his ass for a little bit, but he eventually got her down. That forced Jerry Lawler to get involved, and then Jerry Lawler gave him the old pile driver, which put Andy Kaufman in a neck brace, to which Andy Kaufman told the referee, "Get me an ambulance." And then Jerry Lawler said, "We can't afford an ambulance." And then Andy Kaufman said, "I'll pay for the ambulance." And then Jerry Lawler said, "Well, then get the man an ambulance." And then we have the whole David Letterman story. And then the fucking cap on this episode, which I never knew about. Like, of all the times listening, watching, reading about this, Andy Kaufman passed away. And then they found all the checks that he had been issued from Memphis Wrestling, never cashed a single one. Did all of it for free. So that was kind of a brief synopsis of Tales from the Territories. But yeah, that last bit, man, Andy Kaufman's a real one for that.
Dude, I think that's what came through real strongly for me. First of all, great episode. I can't believe how much I'm enjoying this. First of all, I can't believe I doubted that I would enjoy something from the Dark Side of the Ring guys. I thought The Rock might make it seem too sweet, too nice. No, man, we've been getting some really interesting stories from behind the scenes, some honest, truthful stories. And it was a great companion piece with the more brutal stories that we got in the first episode, to have something that was completely all focused on one story. It says Tales from the Territories. They gave you some tales in the last episode. This is one tale, which still makes it a plural, and it works. And I loved this whole breakdown. I thought I knew everything about this fucking story, and I did not. And the thing about his parents, how Andy Kaufman's parents hated Lawler for years because they kept the kayfabe going all that time until they were on the set for Man on the Moon. That is insane and heartbreaking at the same time, that they would hate him for so long because they thought he really meant the stuff that he was doing. And then Andy never told them, for fuck's sakes, Andy fucking with everybody even after he's dead. So crazy. But also, I think at the end, what struck me is this idea that, yeah, I mean, even Triple H understands what this feud really meant and how this feud elevated wrestling, because Hulk Hogan is only, a couple of years after this, elevated wrestling into the pop culture mainstream, being on Letterman, the slap, which I remember, I was a kid when that happened. That was a talk of the school afterwards. All of that, and then wondering if it was, and for years I wondered if it was real until I saw the movie Man on the Moon, and then I was like, oh shit, this wasn't real. And then Lawler released his memoir, so I bought it for years. And then hearing all the guys, like Dutch Mantell said, he didn't want to know if it was real or not. He didn't want to ruin the illusion, and knowing how many people were involved in this, fascinating. And at the end of the day, Andy loved it so much. It was probably one of the only things where he gave it the respect it deserved. Like with comedy, he loved fucking poking the bear, messing with people's expectations, messing with the audience. And in a way, he was trying to upend comedy as an actor, the same thing. But with wrestling, of all the things, he genuflected in front of wrestling and gave of himself, didn't take one penny for it, and did all these things that he did to have fun and enjoy it and give respect to all the wrestlers and really respected the business. And I bet a lot of wrestlers didn't want to work with him initially because they thought he was going to make fun of the business. But he actually did the opposite, and in a way was one of the steps elevating the business to where we have it now, to where it's on Fox, to where wrestlers are showing up in movies and TV shows. They're showing up on late night talk shows. Andy Kaufman's feud with Lawler, and Lawler should also get a massive amount of respect here for it, was the big reason. And watching this episode, you can't walk away from it without really understanding and grasping that concept. Chris, what did you think about this episode?
I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, it really gives credence to that old proverb of there's nothing new under the sun, and how, WWE loves to do their revisionist history of how they came up with all the ideas and created everything. And it's like, look, Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper and the rock and wrestling connection and all that was a huge deal for WWF in the 80s and bringing pro wrestling to the mainstream. This was before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Andy was a huge star. He was on Taxi. He was on Saturday Night Live. He was all these things. And I got the very distinct pleasure of being able to talk to Bob Zamuda.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Andy's writing partner.
Yeah.
And then I also got the distinct pleasure of talking to Tony Clifton, who despises Andy Kaufman. So two very tonally different conversations, but I was able to get a lot of insight into this situation.
Speaking of Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, yeah.
listen. You want to talk about kayfabe and commitment? Because that's really the name of the game with the whole Andy Kaufman thing. Yeah. I had got to hear a lot of these stories and how committed they were not to telling people that it was a work, and just the lengths that they went to keep the kayfabe real. Like you said, to the point where his parents have this seething thing towards Jerry Lawler for years and years and years. It's just incredible. It's an incredible commitment, incredible work. Like you said, respect to the craft that is pro wrestling. For people who don't respect it as a craft, and how it takes so much skill and care to really manipulate an audience to feel something, and that is it's just unbelievable. But I had never heard that Czech story until the documentary. That was the first time I'd ever heard that either. So just fabulous episode. I don't know what's next. I'm not looking ahead because I just want to be surprised every episode. But just the series has been fantastic so far.
I was listening to Cornette. Cornette said he's going to be on one of the future episodes. They shot some stuff with him. Good. So that's going to be fun to see. Aaron, anything else we should add to this? Anything else? I know you ran it down really well. Is there any opinions you got? Any analysis you have?
The fact that Andy Kaufman just didn't smarten anyone up. That story about him going on the new season of Taxi and wearing the neck brace. So they're like, dude, you got to take that off. He's like, I'm not taking it off. He's like, listen, you got to take it off. We're going to write you out of the show. And he's like, all right, I'll take it off. But oh my God, we need to talk about this. I didn't put it in the notes because I just remembered. Tony Danza wanted to fight Tony Danza wanted to fight Jerry Lawler for breaking Eddie Kaufman's neck. How great was that? That was
I got Lawler in that one. I got Lawler.
Tremendous. Tremendous. I could tell you what's next week, but I'll hold on.
Oh, okay.
It's good. It's good. So, or it will be good. So, like I said, I'm such a big fan of this. I could watch this for hours upon end. I love dudes telling stories. I do want to add this though, because I think that in celebrities in wrestling, we're always so abrasive to embrace like an outsider, as if we're in the business ourselves. We're not, but it's like outsiders come in the business. I think that a guy like Logan Paul, who's not a comedian, could learn a lot from Andy Kaufman. And I guarantee you that Triple H and Shawn Michaels and people in creative have gone to Logan Paul and said, watch some of these old Memphis tapes with Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Watch some of this Piper stuff. Like Logan Paul, I think, is in a unique position where he's athletic enough to make it work in the ring. But if he could learn to be a dastardly heel the way wrestling wants him to be, this guy could be really off to the races. Yeah. And I know he's got his checkered past. I know him and his brother. It's like, whatever you think of that. But I'm kind of putting that aside right now. He's done some terrible things. I will not discount that. But he's in a unique opportunity right now where he can really make some money and make this work for him. And I think he would learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I could rewatch the episode all over again. It was just so good from top to bottom. I hope you guys are watching it. And it's usually available. Well, it wasn't, but you can go on Vice and get like 2 hours free and just create new emails and keep resubscribing. It's a little trick I use. And you can watch the whole series. I've never paid for Vice. That's why I have Dark Side. I just watch it. So, and making up new emails. It doesn't take that much effort. So just letting you know in case you can't afford to pay, was it $5 a month for Vice or whatever?
Well, no, you could buy the episodes off of Amazon for like $2.
Oh, there you go. You could spend a couple of dollars, I guess, perhaps. Yeah. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah,
all right, let's take a quick break. We'll jump into our next thing here right after this. All right, Aaron, where are we going next?
Well, we're going to light the fuse. We're going to bring the boom. It's Dynamite.
Yeah.
Renee Paquette.
Hello.
Is all elite, and she started the show because they were in Toronto, Canada. We started off with promo with Christian, also Canadian, and then he shit on Canada, which was great. Then we had Luchasaurus defeating Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Thank you for calling him that now. With some help from Christian. Wardlow and Samoa Joe, collectively known as War Joe, defeated QT Marshall and Nick Camarado. Then we go backstage to MJF, who's cutting a promo and is interrupted by Stokely Hathaway, into which MJF says, keep your nose out my business. And if I need you, I'll call you. Swerve Strickland defeated Billy Gunn, a.k.a. Daddy Ass, by holding the ropes. Then Mark Sterling comes out and informs the Acclaim that he owns the trademark to scissor me. And it's legit. It's a legit trademark. They even brought it up on AEW's website. It's legit. So John Moxley and Hangman Page have a spirited back and forth. Chris Jericho defeated Bryan Danielson to retain the Ring of Honor Championship after Daniel Garcia interfered on Jericho's behalf. So it looks like Daniel Garcia fooled us. Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm defeated Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, with Shida picking up the victory over Baker. And Orange Cassidy defeated Pac to win his first AEW championship, the All-Atlantic Championship. So there you go. That's AEW Dynamite.
Chris, thoughts?
I thought it was decent. I think AEW is it's kind of the same watch every week, where it's like the in-ring wrestling undeniable, great matches after great matches. It's a lot more noticeable now, the sort of lack of story progression that happens in a lot of AEW programming, where it's like, I used to complain about this, all the time, but like I said, it wasn't as noticeable because WWE was so bad. But now you have the two to compare, and it's like, okay, you guys are twiddling your thumbs. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Let the Christian Jungle Boy storyline. What, isn't Jungle Boy like hurt now or something like that? Or Christian's hurt?
Christian's
So like
hurt
now
Christian's
they can't even like have a payoff between the two of them, and it's like because you wasted so much time, and I still don't know why Jungle Boy turned on. I mean, why Luchasaurus turned on Jungle Boy. I still don't know. And but with that being said, with this win, maybe Luchasaurus is a good foil for Wardlow. Maybe that's where they go next.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like I guess you said it in the chat, John. I hate to put you out there, but Renee Paquette, I don't know if that. I like her very much. I don't know if that moves the needle a great deal
I don't think it
for
does.
AEW.
And I love Renee.
Makes your top star happy.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I guess I'm excited about Moxley Page. It's two guys who I don't want either of them to be the world champion right now. So I just, you know what I mean? I don't know like how to get excited for who wins. I think it's I think the MJF stuff is very interesting. It's like, what is this weird change of heart he's suddenly having? That's the storyline I'll give the most slack to see where it goes because MJF is so talented and because Stokely is so good at what he does.
Yeah. So
we'll see where it goes, even though I think it'd be a massive mistake to turn MJF babyface right now. The Acclaim is still the best thing on the show. Usually I would have said this is a dumb angle, but it's perfect. It's perfect. A heel's job is to rob the audience of what they want. And the audience wants Scissor Me Daddy. And this asshole comes out and goes, you can't do it because I own it. That's perfect. Yeah. That's pro wrestling in a nutshell. Perfectly done. Well done. If only Mark Sterling had some wrestlers that I gave a shit about to feud with the Acclaim, then that'd be cool, much better. But this is fine for now. If we're not going to go, like I said, if we're not going to go the FTR route anywhere near the AEW Tag Team Championships, I guess this is what
confusing.
We do. Yeah. Bizarre. Ishida, Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter match was decent. Could have been, it's decent. Yeah. Kind of what you expect. I had a notion about Orange Cassidy after he won this title.
Okay.
First of all, we've been waiting for Orange Cassidy to hold some gold in AEW for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. The guy's been super over for forever and a day.
I'll give you that.
Give him give him a taste of some gold, man.
Sure.
All Atlantic Championship, though? You know what I mean? Like the belt, it's sort of like it's almost an indie belt because it's like it's the belt you go defend in other places, not AEW, really.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, he is a champion now. But I was like, you know what they should do? They should turn Orange Cassidy heel. Him getting a taste of this gold.
I don't hate that.
I love the idea of because like I said, the belt is like meaningless. It's just like such a useless belt.
Yeah, really.
But what if he lets it go to his head? Mm-hmm. And that's why he's so nonchalant about everything. It's because he thinks he's better than everyone else, and especially the best friends. Like, I don't need you guys. I'm a champion now. I like, you know what I mean? And then it adds a whole new dimension to the hands in the pockets, the sunglasses, the I'm not gonna try. It changes everything about it. I think that's kind of where they should go with Orange Cassidy. But
kind of interesting. Like now that he's won, he's like, I already did it. Fuck it. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Like you play it that way. Yeah. Good point.
100%. So those are kind of my thoughts. I mean, the Jericho storyline with Daniel Garcia, I thought that was a very interesting wrinkle. I completely disagree with that super chat we had earlier. I'm Jericho. Yes, he's a vampire. We know that. He's the guy. You know what I mean? He's the woman from Life Force. He's just completely. I don't know if you guys know about that movie.
Space vampires.
Yeah, baby. But that's who he is, and that's fine. But you can't say he's not entertaining. You can't say he's not amazing at reinventing himself and staying relevant for his longevity is out of control.
At some point, you can't blame the spider for the flies that fall into its web. I mean, you know that he sucks the blood off the young people.
Come on.
Yeah, no, if you put yourself in a program with him, he's gonna suck your blood. It's just how it goes.
And like I said, this is pro wrestling at its finest. He has a very clear goal. You know what I mean? He's executing said goal. It makes sense. And the not knowing where Garcia is from week to week is a pretty good place for him to be, because it puts a spotlight on him and where we're going, and it moves the story forward. So I'm totally fine with it. Other than that, we'll get into a larger discussion. I think there's a glaring hole in what AEW is doing and why they're falling behind, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, so here's what I was saying. Renee Paquette, I'm not saying it's not a great get for them. I think it is. I think she's above it. I got to be honest with you. It doesn't feel like the right mix for me. She's doing fine. We talked about it last week. She's doing sessions. She's got a new Cincinnati Bengals podcast coming out. She's doing a podcast on Sirius XM with Misha Tate. She's fine. So for me, Misha Tate, whatever you want to say. But like her getting on the show, it seems odd to me. And apparently WWE, according to, I think it was Fightful, they apparently made inquiries to see if they could bring her back. And in the end, she decided to go with AEW. You want to be with her man. I respect that. And maybe that was part of the deal with him re-upping a couple of weeks ago for 5 more years was, I'm cool. You got to give my wife a job. And all right, fine. Yeah, let's have her come back and do the behind-the-scenes stuff. She was all over Rampage. So clearly she's going to be doing some of these interviews and what have you. And so whoever was doing it before, move on out, because it's going to be Renee Paquette. And I wonder, I can't imagine it's not going to be that much more time before she's calling matches. I can't imagine that it won't be too much more time before she's doing that as well. So great. It's a good pickup for you, of course, because she's a 5-tool player. I just don't think people are like, oh, I got to watch AEW now because Renee Paquette's on. I can't imagine there are a lot of people feel that way. So in the end, that's my opinion, but I do love her. Luchasaurus, yeah, that was all fine. I really don't give a shit about that. I don't care. I don't know why Wardlow is paired with Samoa Joe. I think it's harming him rather than helping him. He does not, no offense. God damn it, I'm going to get killed. But he does not need to carry around Samoa Joe at the tail end of his career. He doesn't. And it doesn't make any sense to me to saddle him with Samoa Joe. And War Joe is a terrible fucking nickname. So I just hate it all to pieces. Let Wardlow start doing whatever he's fucking doing and destroying the world. Let him go solo. I don't know why you're attaching him to this and distracting him from where you need him to be. MJF's promo was great. He's totally turning face. This is the slow turn to face. Unless they do the Daniel Garcia swerve, and then I'll be super fucking pissed, because I like the slow face turn because they're not going full face. Because him eating popcorn while Hangman Page and Moxley are going at it, that's not a face move, okay? But I thought that was actually kind of cool to see him doing that. Billy Gunn, losing. Okay, the Mark Sterling thing, fucking genius. What a great wrinkle. You know everything you guys are going crazy about? I fucking own it. Let's have a battle about this. That's genius. Absolute genius. Moxley and Page was really interesting. You talk about the real promos. Page was literally slamming his fist into his head. I mean, you could tell he almost cut himself open. He was so frustrated, and he even made an illusion, a real, illusion of the fact that his boys are no longer in the back. And I thought that was fascinating on so many levels. I don't know where you go with this though, because if Moxley beats him, then you just reaffirm the fact that he's a kid. What's that?
Moxley's going to beat him.
Yeah, but if he beats Moxley, then it's so quickly he got the belt and lost it. There's no way that's happening now. After they signed him to 5 fucking years, he's going to beat Hangman Page. So I don't know what the point of this is if it's not going to lead to Page coming out of this thing looking better than he went in. Because you're going to bury him if he doesn't. You're going to absolutely bury him if he doesn't. So hopefully they figure that out as we get to the match and whatever. Jericho and Garcia, interesting twist. I don't know if I 100% like it. I have to sit with it for a little bit to see if I like it, because they fooled us, but then what was the whole point of it all? I have to figure that out. I don't know. The four match, fine. The women, that was cool. But the Orange Cassidy Pac match. Oh, Daniel Bryan and Jericho. That was a damn good match. And so was Pac and Orange Cassidy. Holy shit, man. Sometimes you forget that Orange Cassidy can actually fucking wrestle. And him and Pac, I thought, delivered a damn good match. And Pac sold like a motherfucker, man. So like Triple H level of selling. He sold those orange punches so well. And the DDTs that he takes, one day he's going to snap in half. One day he's just going to just separate two pieces of his body in one. It was incredible what he's willing to put himself through. And I thought that was really well done. Danhausen being involved, the referee being more vocal about the hammer situation. I like that. So, but in the end, as I texted you guys, how many fucking belts does AEW have, and does it really mean anything? So Chris's idea of him being kind of nonchalant about it, that makes all the sense in the world. Somebody suggested he could just carry the belt around in a backpack because he doesn't like to carry heavy things in his hands. That's genius. Turn the belt into like just something you have to carry, like a notebook or something. That's kind of funny how you can play it that way. So those are my thoughts on AEW Dynamite. Aaron?
I'm going to answer your question about how many belts AEW has. I have my trusty notepad here. If we're not counting the Ring of Honor belts, AEW has 7 belts.
Okay.
If we are counting the Ring of Honor belts, they have 12.
God damn.
On the WWE side,
yeah.
And for the record, AEW has 3 hours of weekly programming on TV.
Yeah.
WWE has 8 belts. If you're counting the NXT belts, they have 13. So one less than the WWE has right now. And if you're counting Romans as 1 and the Usos as 1, I counted them as 2, but they'd be even less. Yeah, so there's that. You're welcome. But here's the thing. Like, Chris, I think you said that you guys kind of enjoyed the Daniel Garcia thing. I'm going back to the notepad because I'm checking notes, and it was a double cross, right?
Yeah.
What did we do like a month ago with Jamie Hayter? She was getting pissed at Britt,
right.
And then we double crossed, and she was actually just going to stay with Britt. Yeah. And then like 3 months before that, we did the whole Luchasaurus is a bad guy. No, wait, he's a good guy. No, wait, he's a bad guy. So you just effing recycled your storylines. Like, stop it. Figure it out. Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland look like they're going to get into it, so I'm excited for that. As far as the rest of the show goes, I will agree with you that Jericho and Danielson was a banger of a match. I really enjoyed it. It looks like Hikaru Shida will be facing Toni Storm next week. I'm excited for that. However, it always feels like when the women's tag team match comes on or the interview segment, it's like, all right, well, this is the women's part of the show. We'll just get over it. Let's give it 10 minutes and we'll get out of here. Yeah. And then they're done with it. Because it's always, I feel like it's always the same people. It's always some form of Tony, Shida, Baker, Hayter, Serena Deeb, and somebody else. Like, it's always that fluctuation of people. There's never anybody else. And then the Orange Cassidy stuff, it's fine. The All Atlantic Championship doesn't mean shit.
Oh, right, you're right. The belt doesn't mean anything.
So
it's good, though, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree. I think Pac is one of the best wrestlers in the entire world. I think the reason that he can do those things with the DDTs because neck bridges, baby. And he ain't got nothing on Ricochet though. Holy crap!
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no, you're right there.
Woo! Ricochet sells it like death. Like,
but Ricochet is also skinnier than he.
He's not carrying as much muscle as
yeah,
Pac.
I mean, Jesus Christ, Pac looks like just a muscle with legs.
And don't forget Rob Van Dam back in the day selling the Randy Orton Hangman DDTs. But the stuff with Hangman Adam Page, like, I'm just not buying it. Like, how many times can Hangman Page come out there and just like get fired up? Like, I'm friends with the Dark Order guys. Blah. It's like, no one cares. I'm mad. I've got a kid. It's like, yeah, we get it, dude. Yeah, we get it. And Jon Moxley, like, I feel bad for him because he signed this 5-year contract. He's the guy. Yeah. Like, they thought it was going to be CM Punk. It's not. Exactly, Baloo. It's not CM Punk. So it's Moxley. And now we're giving him this crap. Like, we're giving him Hangman Page. Not saying Hangman Page is crappy, but he was just in the title picture. Like, let's move him out, and then let's get some fresh blood in there. Miro still sitting at home. Don't know what we're doing there. Like, that could be an easy contender. Lance Archer, where's he at? He could be a good villainous big guy contender, you know? Is Wardlow coming down the road? What are we doing? Like, W. Morrissey has a big debut, shows up, then disappears. Like, I don't understand this shit. Yeah. Just do better stuff with your top belts. I don't get it.
Well, Sean Spears is back though, so you're good.
So what? Well, shout out to him for being a dad. You know.
Yeah, it's true.
So shout out to
I guess
Cassidy.
if you have a kid, all your sins are absolved if you have a kid.
Well,
What was the thing you wanted to talk about, Chris? What was the question we had here, or was that you, Aaron? The question
that was Chris.
All right.
Well, this is my thing. The AEW just feels like there's no unifying presence in the promotion, at least from my perspective. WWE, unquestionably, it's the bloodline. That is the main story.
100%.
That is the through line. And like I said, everyone's getting involved. The bloodline story touches kind of everyone a little bit. And even when things happen that seemingly don't, you speculate. Oh, when is Gunther going to interact with the bloodline? When is Bray Wyatt going to interact with the bloodline? And what's that going to be? You know what I mean? You have questions because that is the backbone of the storytelling in WWE. What is the backbone of the storyline in AEW currently? Who's the guy? Who is the... I know that they want it to be Moxley, but it feels like he's an alternate. Like we said, Moxley's supposed to be on vacation right now. He ain't even supposed to be in the promotion currently. Him and Renee are supposed to be off on a cruise or however they like to have fun. Maybe him bleeding some kind of way somewhere. But
cutting himself.
Yeah. But so it's like, I get it that it kind of is Moxley by default right now.
Yeah.
But if you guys had to pick who that person is and what the storyline kind of needs to be as the backbone of it all to branch out, who do you pick? Who really should be the man or woman in AEW? Like, who do you build around? Because I'm sorry, it's not John, in my opinion.
No,
I thought long and hard about this.
Okay.
And I know who you're going to say, John, so I didn't pick this person.
Okay.
So I went a different route. And I think, depending on how serious his injury is, I really think that you push all in, there you go, with the guy that NXT pushed in all on during those Wednesday Night Wars. I think you go with Adam Cole.
Oh, interesting.
I think you make Adam Cole Bebe the man, the face of your company. And then on the opposite side, and I even hate saying this, but it's true. You got to make DMD the front of the women's division, like she already is. And you make them work together as like a version of Triple H and Stephanie, like they did back in the day. So you got Adam Cole as the world champion, and you got Britt as the women's champion. And then you could add, like, Adam Cole's minions. Like if Kyle O'Reilly wants to get in there, he can be the TBS or TNT champion or whatever the fuck. And then Jamie Hayter can be the TBS champion. Like, you could build people around it, but it starts with Adam Cole because Adam Cole has the skills. He's got the personality. He's got like, you see Adam Cole and you go, all right, that guy's kind of cool. And I really think he could. And I think Tony would put the cart behind Adam Cole to have him run, depending on the injury history. If he's injured and this concussion stuff, it's real dicey for him right now. And I feel terrible for him. So if that happens, I think you run with Adam Cole. That would be my guess. Or my pick.
I agree with you on the DMD side of things. I think 100%. I've come around on that now. I could care how great she is in the ring. It's not that she can't deliver a good match. She can. We've got to work on the selling. And that's the thing you can tweak. So it's not like that we feel like you've hit the ceiling. Whereas with Liv, I think we've hit the ceiling. With DMD, I think there's much further to go. And if you turn her into a chicken shit heel who thinks she's badass, that makes it even more of an interesting angle to play with, because people will be 100% attracted and angry at her at the same time. And that's a good mix. That's what you want when you're going to go with a female heel. It's a good choice. Okay, cool. That works. Great. Make that happen. Because I love Tony. I don't think Tony has the personality or is anywhere near over the way that you need to be for a crowd to react to the things you're doing. And no offense to Thunder. Yeah, they didn't book it well, but in the end, the audience also didn't gravitate to it as strongly as you were hoping they would. And in the end, she delivers great matches, just not, quite 100% there. So I think that's why you go with DMD. It just works. And you separate her away from Hater, have her pick up a new stable. Fire Rebel right now, no offense.
Why?
Get rid of that shit. Get rid of it. It's useless. The crutch, all of that. It makes no fucking sense. Get it out of here. You want to be a badass chicken shit heel, you're going to have people who can wrestle at a moment's notice for you, who will fight at a moment's notice for you. And I don't think Rebel is the choice anymore, to be honest with you. It's like hanging on to a friend who you probably shouldn't be hanging on to and you've moved past it, but you've been with them for so long. It's just like things change. So I think that's the choice there. Now, on the men's side, to me, the obvious choice is MJF. And that's why I say I like the slow turn for him being faced. He's your guy. Nobody delivers a better promo in that company. Maybe Punk. Nobody delivers better matches in that company. Nobody moves the needle like he does. Nobody inspires full-on entire stadium reactions like he does. And I just think that's the difference. Punk is long in the tooth. Danielson's long in the tooth. Moxley's getting long in the tooth. And you don't have any young guys coming up. And we don't know how long that concussion is going to keep Adam Cole out. Somebody pointed, Brad Meltzer was saying that he might not even wrestle again. This is a guy in his prime. And if you don't make him your focus and build everything around him, you're going to lose him. And then what the fuck have you got left? Yes, you deliver good matches between the wrestlers you got left. Absolutely. But you don't have that star, the guy. MJF is your Roman Reigns. And if they don't fix shit fully, and if they don't creatively take these incredible leaps with him, he's going to be gone. So to me, that's the choice. And there's no question for me on that. There's no question for me on that. What do you say, Chris, to answer your own question?
I agree with, I think at this point, it needs to be DMD. I think DMD needs to be your Ric Flair.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Okay.
It's like, oh, the babyface is about to beat her. Damn it. She escaped again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that. I think that her greatest talent can be really making us want to see her get beat up.
Yes. 100%.
And that was Ric Flair's greatest talent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why she can work. And also to your point, she's got to work on the selling if that's what it's going to be, though. Yeah. You can't put a babyface over if you're not selling for them.
Yep.
It just doesn't work that way. So with a lot of work on that, she could be that. Or you do with Saraya what they didn't do with Edge, which is actually like a story that I think it was either like Cornette or maybe even Russo talked about on his podcast, where it was like the storyline upon Edge's return should have really been, yeah, but what happens if he falls on his neck? You know what I mean?
Good point.
He was gone for years and years and years because of a neck injury. Shouldn't they build it around, but what happens if he falls on his neck? I think the same thing for Saraya. Yeah, but what happens if one of these women drop her on her head?
Yeah. And
you let her be the Daniel Bryan of that division. I think that it's a mistake that she's coming out with these like promos being like, I'm a badass and this is my house and I'm going to, change everything. The promo should be, I thank God that I get to come back. And I'm filled with gratitude. I'm humbled. I'm just thank you, God. Kind of what Bray Wyatt did with his promo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then you got the babyface sympathy and everyone is behind her. But I don't think people know what to do with Saraya right now.
Yeah.
So that's why DMD is my pick.
Okay.
As far as the men, and I know what your criticism is going to be. It's got to be Kenny Omega.
Oh,
it's gotta be Kenny Omega.
Let me just brother you softly.
It's not about look, I'm always gonna brother my guys softly. However,
come on.
Just give me a second here.
Just gonna get my walker out. Yeah,
Omega. I said it 4 weeks ago. When Omega was the champion, at least more visible on the program, it gave AEW an identity. He is the embodiment of the alternative that they're trying to be to WWE. Kenny I mean, and what are we talking about? Kenny has been in the running for the best wrestler in the world for the past 10 years. Yes.
Yeah.
Jericho coming to New Japan was a huge deal. And it brought all these eyes to New Japan that hadn't been watching. Who was his opponent? Kenny Omega.
Kenny.
Who had been doing these unbelievable matches with Okada that made so much noise that we were hearing it here in the US. Like, y'all got to watch Wrestle Kingdom. These fools wrestled for an hour and a half, and it was unbelievable. It was Kenny Omega. Who was the number one draft pick that they were hoping would go to WWE? It wasn't the Bucks. It was Kenny Omega. What would Kenny Omega do in the WWE? Everyone wanted to see it. And in so many interviews, who do these wrestlers say is their number one guy they'd like to work with? Kenny Omega. I get it. As much as hate as he gets from Cornette, and look, there's a lot of stuff about him I don't like too. I think he does some silly ass promos, and I still haven't fully forgiven him either for this goofy shit he did in DDT, also wrestling dolls and little kids and stuff. And I think he can kind of, not be as serious as I would like my top guy to be. Sure. But the dude is good. The dude is really good, in fact. And he has a mind for the business, puts meaning into every match that he does. And then let's talk about the age for a second.
Yeah.
You talk about the walker and all this other thing. To me, no, wrestlers reached their prime in their mid-30s. This ain't what it used to be, where it was all about a young man's game. I challenge you for a second. Okay? How old is Roman Reigns?
I'm looking it up right now.
I already know the answer.
38?
37.
37. He's 37 years old.
Omega's 38.
Omega's 38 years old.
Yeah.
How old was Hulk Hogan in 1996 when the NWO started?
How dare you? But that's a second.
49?
He was 43 years old. He's older than Kenny Omega is currently. I get it. It's a different context.
Yes.
All I'm talking about is years of viability. That's all I'm talking about.
But he doesn't have years of viability anymore. He's breaking down. He's getting injuries more and more. Reigns doesn't have that. He has his leukemia that he fights back against and overcomes, and he's done it. And he looks like a mountain of a man. There's a difference with Omega.
I get it.
37 and 38 between them is different. Yeah.
I get it. However, what I'm saying is we don't need Kenny's reign to be that long. We really don't. Wrestlers' top periods aren't even that long. Rock's run wasn't that long in retrospect.
6 years.
That's what I'm saying.
That's kind of crazy to think about.
It is nuts to think about, right? Yeah. So that all I'm saying is right now, I think he is the ingredient that you need. And my thing about MJF, as amazing as I think he is, there's a Jack Sparrow quality to MJF. He works better playing off of people as opposed to being the main person.
Gotcha.
What happened when that franchise went and focused on Jack Sparrow? That's not the right decision. He was never supposed to be the main character. He's not in the first 3 movies.
You're insane. You have no idea what you're talking about.
I know exactly what I'm talking about. MJF needs a good foil. And and Omega just can be the guy. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the difference between the two of them. I think it's got to be the cleaner.
I think what you have to come, and those are great points, and both of you made excellent points defending your people. But I'll throw this out here. I think what we've got to, and we don't have time to kind of settle this, but we've got to understand what is it you want out of AEW, right? How do you think AEW is going to compete? So do you want it to be the rebel with the leather jacket and the fuck you smile poking at the big bear? Or do you want it to be the new big bear on the block? And that is what the difference is. And I think you have to pick your guy and woman according to what the overall goal is that you want the company to get to. And for me, I think of it as, how can I supersede the WWE? How can I take over as the number one wrestling brand? And to me, MJF is the path. For you, and I think I could agree with you for Omega. Omega is the rebel. Omega is the indie darling. Omega is the A24 of the professional wrestling world. everybody knows if you see that trailer or if you see that moniker, you know you're going to get something pretty cool and fun and interesting that challenges you. But it's never going to be Disney. It's never going to be fucking Marvel. And I think MJF is Marvel, and I think Kenny Omega is A24 or Focus Features, or God forbid, even the stuff that Mel Gibson and Gerard Butler are starring in now, which most of the time is fun. But like, it's not big time. And I think MJF is big time. I don't think Omega is big time. I think Omega is awesome for the independent circuit, but for the overall thing, for me, I think MJF is your path. So, that's my argument there. We have to understand, what do you want AEW to be? But if you think Kenny can take you to the number one spot over WWE, I can't get on board on that.
Well, see, for me, I don't think that's ever a thing. I don't think WWE will
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I just don't even think that's a path.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? But what I'll say is, I think what Kenny has been able to do is wait. It's made people go, wait, what's happening over there?
Right. No,
like
totally.
what?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And even as they kept talking about, like, oh my God, the Bullet Club merch is like going crazy. They got it in Hot Topic. And then no indie wrestling's ever done that before. They're, even though Cody and the Bucks were out front for All In, for All In, at the end of the day, who was the centerpiece for that entire movement? You could say what you want about Cody, the Bucks, whatever else was going on.
Yeah.
It was Kenny. Kenny was the man. And what was the problem when we first started out in AEW, where it was like, wait, Kenny's in a tag team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why is he not the champion?
Yeah, it was like, no. It's like, you get what they were doing. It's like, well, we want these other people to shine. That's your big gun. Use your big gun. And he is the big gun. And no pun intended, because he's the cleaner. But I'm just saying, he's the big gun. You got to let him be the big gun. Because even when they did the belt collector gimmick, they didn't even fully go through with it. It was like, okay, I got a couple things here. And then didn't even pull the trigger on that all the way. Yeah. You got to go all in with Kenny, man. Let him see. And just see if all the hype is real or if it's all just that hype.
And we're saying Omega would be huge in WWE. He already was in WWE, and he wasn't.
That's not fair.
He was in developmental. He was in developmental.
MJF would get in at the same age that Kenny was, and I guarantee you he'd have been a fucking star. Aaron, any final thoughts on this? Because we're almost at the end here, and I know we got to hit some SmackDown stuff if we have time.
The only thing I want to say is the AEW. I want you to say that you're the rebel, but then don't be the rebel. Just give me wrestling. That's all I really need. And I think somebody in the chat, is it a super chat? I don't know.
But you want Rebel to stay employed?
Rebel is the makeup artist, dude. Like, she does great makeup.
Let her do the makeup then.
But
Chris Statlander. When does she come? When she comes back? I don't know.
The only thing I would say I'm hasty about with Chris Statlander is she's not well developed on the mic yet. She has got some good promos. I will give her that, but she's not DMD level. And then
we're saying right now, who would you hand the fucking ball to? That's what we're saying.
I would
not
hand
down
it,
the road right now.
I would hand it to Dr. Britt Baker, Bloody Face, DMD. And I think some people in the chat, if I had to pick, give me a hot prospect in AEW that you're gonna go all in with, it's Wardlow. Wardlow's 34 years old. 34.
That's a great choice.
Right at that same level. I know people want to compare him to Brock Lesnar. I know people want he's like Brock Lesnar. No. He's Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
he's Big Dave. Like, Dave came in and he wasn't going to be the guy because Orton was going to be the guy, and then Orton fucked up and Dave became the guy, and everybody got behind Dave. Like, Batista was fucking over at WrestleMania 21 when he beat Triple H. So I think if you want to make Wardlow the guy, you have him beat MJF for the top title.
That's eventually a great choice, dude.
I think it would be perfect, and I think he's a guy you can also run with, but just not at the moment. Adam Cole is a known quantity. I could run with Adam Cole. I can't run with Wardlow just yet. Give me a year or two.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. I like that, actually. K-Dog said, question, can someone tell me how many belts AEW has now? We did. I don't know who is fighting for what except for Moxley. # the casual fan. Yeah.
Nobody knows, dude.
Nobody knows,
Even Sheeta came out with her belts from another promotion this
Yeah,
week.
what the
and
fuck
it was
is that?
like,
I was like, why is
what
this?
the hell? There's more titles. It was like, whoa,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So funny. So funny. Gunther is 35. Yeah. Cool.
God,
but he's not the man. He's not the man.
Not yet. Not
Reigns
yet.
is
Not yet. Let him be his
Did
time.
anybody
Kenny got time.
Did anybody see the meme of Dominic eating a Mario mushroom and then it showed Gunther and he looked like Dominic looks like Gunther, like bigger Gunther in the face. I was just like, this fucking sucks.
I kind of see it.
That's insane.
This sucks. But
Do we want to skip SmackDown? Anything you want to say on that? Or do you want to jump into that real quick before we wrap up?
let's see what the notes say here.
Also,
we got
don't
LA,
break. Yeah, go ahead.
got LA Knight.
Yes.
LA Knight is back, and he's a
Very
heel.
happy about that.
He's
Exactly
a
what
bad
he needs
guy.
to be.
That was so interesting.
I love that. I love it's great. Rey Mysterio's back on SmackDown. Roxanne Perez makes her debut on SmackDown. She's not staying on SmackDown, but she was on it. And then they beat Shotzi and Smiley Raquel. I did want to bring up something. Oh, Chris, we talked about this earlier, and I'm excited about it as much as you are. Braun Strowman, Omos, big meaty men slapping meat.
Do you think that's what's coming? Do you think that's
Let's
what's coming?
go.
Oh,
Hell
okay.
yeah, that's what's happening. Let's go. Let's
Dude.
go. I want that. I want Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley. Like, break the fucking ring. I'm ready. I love it.
Because you know what Triple H did? It was like, okay, look. He's like, look, guys, the Vince McMahon idea works. It's all in the execution.
Yeah.
If you'd have told us 2 months ago, hey, guys, Omos, Braun Strowman, we would be like, ew. Disgusting. No. Absolutely not.
Want that?
No. But now the notion that, like, oh, who can out squash the other, where it's like, I'm going to squash the shit out of people on Raw. I'm going to squash the shit out of, like, it's a competition between the two of them. I love that. You know what I mean? I love that. You get Heyman in there to book the actual confrontation between the two. We're going to get something fun. And that's what the Triple H regime, and also they mentioned the new regime on commentary on SmackDown. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They referenced it for the first time ever, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But
And Triple H is an on-screen character now, too.
yeah, that he is. I just think that what he's doing is giving us that real variety show, that vaudevillian, like, hey, you want something, some comedy? Here's Maximum Male Models. You know what I mean? You want some just straight up big meaty men fun? Here's Omos and Strowman. You want some like really serious technical wrestling and stuff? Here's everything that Gargano's doing. You know what I mean? You want some killer promos and wrestling mixed in? Here's what Kevin Owens is doing. You want this super intricate, long-term, weighty, gravitas-filled storyline? Here's the Bloodline. You know what I mean? You want just great wrestling? Here's the Brawling Brutes and Gunther. And it's like, anything you like from pro wrestling, it's happening in WWE right now. Yeah. And like I said, I can't believe that I'm excited for that match, but I am excited.
So you're saying they should bring back the vaudevillains, is what you're saying. I feel like that's what you're
I loved that tag team.
I did love that gimmick too.
I was saying
that gimmick.
I loved that tag team. I will defend it till the grave. I loved it. I think the three of us. I think the three of us are in agreement. Yeah, the vaudevillains were great. They were.
Simon
so
is a funny SOB in person as well.
What? It's one of the best intros ever with the CPF.
So good.
That was so good. The Karrion Kross thing with the car accident. Where are we going? Are we doing Drew McIntyre heel? That's a heel move to me.
It's continuity because the WWE parking lot is the most dangerous place on earth. Even JC Jane tweeted about it and said, "Listen, I'm just going to come in the Pope box next time to NXT because you're just going to get hurt every time you go there." So
if I'm Roman, I take a helicopter to SmackDown and I don't
Kobe style, yeah.
It was cool. The LA Knight thing is great. Roxanne Perez tweeting about being on SmackDown, then Bayley absolutely smashing her on Twitter was fucking great. If you guys haven't seen that exchange,
love it.
The Phantasmo thing, cool, great. They get the victory. I'm cool with that. I hated the Sonya Liv stuff. Beating a mid-carder who rarely wins is not going to do anything for you. Liv, it does nothing for you. You can jump off a 75-foot fucking ladder. It's not going to do a fucking thing for you to beat Sonya Deville. Not a thing. Her on NXT, though, I like that. Her kind of helping Mandy out.
I was a big fan of that.
That works. That absolutely works because that's where Sonya belongs. That's where she works best, in my opinion. So it works, and that's why Mandy works down there as well. Rey Mysterio, shocking to become the #1 contender for the IC title. So that's going to be an interesting match for sure. And then, of course, we talked about the Bray Wyatt thing already. Here's what I'll say about, and I'll swing over a little bit to AEW Rampage. Why is Maria Kanellis on TV? Why is the Kingdom even a part? As much as I enjoyed SmackDown, watching Rampage was such a wet fart. So I throw that out there. I thought some of the stuff on Rampage worked. Renee doing her thing, all of that. But man, I don't know why the Kingdom is there, and especially against FTR. Really? Like this is what you're doing with FTR? Fix this immediately. Stop fucking around with this shit. So, but SmackDown itself, I enjoyed. When you're watching Rampage right afterwards, it's like a fucking letdown, man.
Completely. Did you guys think? While I had conflicting feelings about the Rey Mysterio thing. Storyline wise, does it make him look weak that he's just like, these guys keep kicking my ass? I like, seriously, Triple H, I'm just like done with this. I'm not gonna punch my son, so I can't keep taking this ass whooping week in and week out. Like, I don't know what to do. And so he gets traded, and then he wins a match. Now he's gonna get murdered by Gunther. Or do you like that this is the story progression and you think that Judgment Day is inevitably going to show up on SmackDown to poke the bear even further?
Xenar said something good. He said, Ray fake quitting and politicked his way into an IC title shot. Dom was right. So I thought it was funny. It's a great comment.
Hogan himself, baby. Use the stroke.
I will say this. I think they know that Dom is fucking limited. They knew that pursuing this storyline with Ray was going to open them up to more Dom fuck-ups, and they just moved Ray over to SmackDown to save both of them. Let Dom now just become another person in the stable. And although he did the 619 all of that on his dad, which was a terrible 619, by the way, couldn't even fucking get that 619 right. You move Ray out and you let Ray do what he's doing at SmackDown. You keep Ray winning and doing his thing, and you let Dom be just part of the stable there on Judgment Day. I thought it was a deftly smart move, even though people might say, well, what about the storyline? If people were that invested, they'd have been more vocal on the message boards and on the comments, and they weren't. So what do you think there?
Dominic is 25. Give him a break. He's 25.
MJF is 27. What do you want me to give him a break about?
Yeah, you can do a lot. You can do a lot in 2 years.
If he's MJF in 2 years, Aaron, I'll give you $100 million.
Well, I know you don't have it, but
I'll do a down payment plan.
That works. It's just like it's a fun thing for SmackDown because Rey Mysterio is like synonymous with that brand when they actually had a brand split so long. So now they can say like, oh, he's back home, he's this, he's that. And we're winding it. I feel like we've been winding it down with Rey Mysterio for like the past 6 years. Like, I love Rey. I love what he did in WCW. He was like my favorite character to play with on WCW Revenge. Like, he's my guy. And I love him. But it's like, dude, we got Santos Escobar, man. Like, we got a good luchador. Like, you go away now. Like, we're good. We got it. Thanks.
You don't want to see that
Phoenix,
match,
bro? I do want to see
that match. Yeah, I was just saying.
And we got Ray Phoenix too. Like, we're good. We're good, bro.
Let me clarify. MJF is 26. So he'd have to get there in a year, pal. And I don't think he's going to get there in a year. So I'm going to make sure my $100 million stays in my bank. But go ahead. Yes.
I don't care how old Daniel Garcia is. Fuck him. Fuck him. I don't care.
But you know what I do like about Rey Mysterio moving over? Because to your point, he is synonymous with the SmackDown brand.
Totally.
People are going to be so excited to wrestle him because he's a legend. Did you see how excited Ricochet was? He was noticeably jazzed and stoked to be wrestling.
Underground, baby.
He was selling in a way that was so exaggerated. When he got 619, he flew to the other side of the ring. I'm like, this dude is having he is freaking out that he's wrestling Rey Mysterio on SmackDown. So if we're gonna get more of that, I'm all for it.
Right on. All right, we got to wrap up here. Anything more to say on anything else? Are we good to go?
That's all I got, man.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching us here on Strong Style. We appreciate it madly. Don't forget, Strong Style is its own podcast feed. You want to help the show? Yeah, maybe you can't contribute or send in a Streamlab or Super Chat, but subscribing to the podcast, wherever you download podcasts, that would help us out a lot for sure. We are going to be moving to our own channel on YouTube. The podcast, though, was the first foray into separating it out from the Outlaw Nation channel, so it's its own thing. So please subscribe to that, because when you subscribe, it gives us numbers and it gives us money through the ads, the more subscriptions we get. So I'm going to hit you with that right now. Go to wherever you download podcasts, look for Strong Style, look for our logo, and download or subscribe to the podcast and give us some love there. Aaron, another fun show, brother. Where can they find you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at only Aaron Turner. The TikTok is strong_style_live. I've been kind of lacking on that. Apologies. Programming note for next week, maybe moving days.
Yes.
So we'll get back to you guys on that. Just follow our social media. But yeah, always good to do a show with you guys. Appreciate it. And I'm going to try to go lay down and not be sick.
Yeah, respect. Thanks for doing it. We know you've been recovering, so thank you, Aaron, very much. Chris Burns, another fun show. Where can they find you, my man?
At Chris_please on all the social media stuff. I like it when you guys hit me on Twitter and want to talk about wrestling. So hit me on. Let's focus on the Twitter this week. I'm off this weekend at the Hollywood Improv, but I'm back October 23rd and the 30th. I think it's going to become a weekly thing. We'll see what happens. But
nice.
Having a lot of fun doing local comedy again.
That's good. That's good. Also, Aaron Braun Breaker turns 25 on the 24th, so just letting you know where he's at. So just Dom is far behind these people. But anyway,
well, shout out to Booker T on commentary for calling that Braun Breaker spear and saying "shucky ducky quack quack." I love Booker T.
That's awesome. As for me, you can follow me at the Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Outlaw Nation down there. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button. We're so close to 24,000 subscribers. Get us over the hump to that area so we can start marching towards 25,000 subscribers. On Twitch, it's the Outlaw Nation, all one word there as well. And the other podcast that I've got going on, I've got a Jamie Lee Curtis appreciation video coming out later on today, sponsored by Paramount is that the Halloween? It was Paramount, right? Yeah, sponsored by Paramount. They asked me to do a video for them, so I'm doing it. It's going to come out later on today. But Aaron and I might be reviewing Halloween Ends tomorrow at some point. If we can find some time for Aaron and I meet up, we'll review it and give you our full thoughts on it, non-spoiler wise, and maybe talk about the whole trilogy as an addition to the review as
Tune
well.
In for that.
If we can schedule it. We'll see. All right. Thanks you all so much. And you guys take care of yourselves. Be well. Enjoy your weekend. And we'll talk to you next week with another brand new live episode of Strong Style. Peace.